Hey everyone, this is Zach from Nothing Coherent. This was supposed to be episode 2 of our series, and basically we had a little bit of an issue. For whatever reason, the audio sounds way quieter on the recording end, so the audio for the actual game is super high and my commentary is really low. So this is actually going to be a post-production recording of the episode. I don't really want you guys to have to hear the music and trying to understand what I'm saying. Right now, basically, I'm doing a team recap. We didn't really get a whole lot done in this episode. By the end, I want to say, get to Viridian. We get through Viridian Forest and we fight our rival. But other than that, we don't make a whole lot of progress. Thankfully, this didn't happen later in the series. I know exactly what it was that happened. Our settings in OBS accidentally increased the sound of the volume and not my microphone for some reason. It is not going to be an issue for the next episode, I believe. I've already looked at that, so we should be okay. But anyway, we are doing a team recap. We have Mustang the Rapidash, we have Ferdinand the Tauros, and we have Onion Frog the Bulbasaur. If I had to be completely honest, Ferdinand is the team member that I'm the most behind right now. I like Bulbasaur a lot, and I like Rapidash, but Tauros is one that I've always been really partial to, and I think it's really fun that we're getting to start the game early with him. It's just a whole lot going into this series for me. This is a huge experiment for me. I've never really done anything like this. Now, those of you who know me know that I do stream on Twitch from time to time. You can find me on twitch.tv/jitteryjackanape. And I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do, is stream. We also have our podcast, obviously. We most recently talked about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I believe later today in the real world at the current time, it is 4:15 a.m. I'm trying to edit this series down and making it entertaining for you all, because I have to get this sent off to Ryan so episode 3 can come out on time. And we ran into this little issue, but I'm supposed to be seeing the new Bad Boys movie today. It's been out for a couple weeks, and I believe I'm also going to be seeing Impractical Jokers. So I'll probably be talking about that sometime soon, like this Sunday, which would be, I want to say, the 24th, I believe. But I guess I can just kind of sit back and chill. You know, we have a podcast for a reason. It's so that we can sit down and talk. And what a better way to do that right here on this series. I want to just give you an idea, I guess, since we can take this time. I accidentally just tapped my mic. Hopefully that's not a huge issue for you guys. But this series is basically going to be my first step into gaming on Nothing Coherent. And I said, you know what, this seems like a good game for me to do, but there's other stuff that I want to do too. At some point, I'm going to do a game for the Dragon Ball series, because I run a page on Facebook called Piccolo. I gave those people the option of what game it is that I think they would want to see, whether that be Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure or Dragon Ball Z Supersonic Warriors. So far, it seems like people are kind of leaning towards Advanced Adventure, but now that I have my PC, the idea is to try and help get some gaming content out there for you guys on the channel. You know, I have a lot more free time, I think, compared to the other guys. Not that they don't want to do it, but if you're not doing anything with your time, what's really the point, you know? And I said, you know what, I'm just going to get out here and I'm just going to start this, and they've been super supportive of it, and I'm really appreciative of that. The game itself has been really fun for me so far. I recorded up until Brock, and I think the going plan forward is for each recording session to go to start with from where I got my last badge and end where I get the next one. So the first recording session was the start of the game up until we beat Brock and we ended that episode. Next recording session will be us starting Mount Moon, and we'll end it with Misty. So the way that's going to work is I'm probably going to do Nugget Bridge and fight Blue or Gary, and then I'll go all the way up to Bill, get the SSN ticket, come back and fight Misty, depending on our levels, of course. If we're like level 26 or 27, we can probably handle Misty, but so far we haven't ran into any major trouble. We haven't come close to dying yet. I've done a little bit of grinding off screen, and that has more to do with the emulator not liking speed up for some reason. I don't know if it's just the version I downloaded or something like that, but I don't want to push my luck with that and try using a different one, because I think that it won't keep my save file, and right now we want to obviously keep the mods we have, so I'm kind of just toughing it out. I think I can record it still and speed it up for you guys if that's the option you guys want to go with. I believe I actually talked about that in this episode, where I had to re-record the audio like I'm doing here. And basically, I'm not against that. I would rather not have to record them just because I can't speed up in the game itself for whatever reason. I can do it in post, but it just takes so much longer without the speed up option for me on this end, because, you know, like, if I have to grind for an hour, I have to do that in real time now, which isn't the end of the world, but if I'm having to grind later in the game, say for the Elite Four, then we're gonna have to find a way to compensate for that. Like, hopefully I can play around with the Visual Boy Advanced settings, because I have hold on, I'll open it really quick. I have Visual Boy Advanced M2.14. That's the one that came out like last year, I want to say, not the one from like 2005 that I usually use. I just downloaded the latest one. But when I tried to use speed up, it didn't exactly work. And I didn't see an option for speed up. Usually it's just you can press the space bar and speed up will activate. That wasn't really the case this time around, so I'm thinking maybe I just have to go into the settings and configure it. But I didn't see the option, so if anybody has any clue on that, feel free to let me know, because whatever I can do to help make this series come out frequently is going to be great. I was actually talking with Ryan, and the idea right now is for as long as there's a recording episode edited and ready to go, it'll come out the very next day. So like, we had episode 1 come out, and episode 2 is about to come out at 8 a.m. in about 3.5 hours. So be on the lookout for that, I guess. You guys will actually have that by the time you get this one, so it's no big deal. But there's not really a whole lot for me to talk about. We've got about 11 more minutes on the actual video here. We went for about 22 minutes, and really we took on all the trainers in the forest. Our guys were actually doing great. This Milotic actually scared me quite a bit, but we persevered. You know, it was something for sure. I was really worried when I saw it, because I was like, if that thing happened to know Ice Beam, Onion Frog would be in trouble. Like, I was actually thinking about this. There's a few mons that I'm genuinely afraid of, and it's not just ghost types anymore, because now, like, I don't have anything to deal with fire types. I have Mustang, but Mustang is going to be neutral against fire. But if I had to deal with a Blaziken, which is fire fighting, I couldn't send in Bulbasaur, and I couldn't send in Tauros. Blaziken would basically wall my team right now. I'm desperately hoping that our next encounter that we get is going to be water or ground, maybe, for that. Water would be ideal. I'll even take, like, Chinchou or Shelter or something like that. I'll take anything as long as it can learn water moves. I'm all for that, because we need more type variety on the team. Like, we have 3 good types for sure, but the more the better, you know. Like, if we can build an actual team of Mons, we're gonna be fine, I think. I genuinely do. Now that I've recorded up until the first badge, I feel pretty good with how we're doing. I'm usually not cocky, but I'm confident, and there's a huge difference in that, I think. and that's going to go a long way for us, I think. You know, I was really anxious with the forest because I was like, I've watched people do these before, and I've seen people have to deal with, like, a Mewtwo or a Lugia or even Rayquaza, you know, like, and I learned in episode 1, you know, like, the legendaries from other games are in this because we could have picked Registeel, and that could have been bad for us if Gary actually had one, but it somehow randomized to Mew. And then later in this episode, you'll actually see something that's kind of funny, because we take on Gary, and you expect it to be Mew that you're going to end up dealing with, but forewarning, that's not what's happening. Spoiler alert, I guess. No, man, like, there's nothing major that happens in this episode, really. We just clear out trainers, and we just keep on keeping on, man. The train is going strong. The squad is looking good. Mustang's at level 13. I believe all the Mons are right now. We're doing great. I really wish I didn't have to do it this way, but this is the only way that I could really save this footage, and we already saved the game after the fact. I probably should have just checked after every episode just to be sure, because I save after every recording, and I think this is going to be a good way for me to know to not do that from now on. After I know the recording is good, save, and then if for whatever reason the recording is bad, we could turn it off, but I don't really want to do that either, because then it almost feels like I'm cheating. If I can save the video footage and just do post-commentary, I'm kind of okay with that. I can live with that, I guess. It's not ideal for me, but we can make that work. I'll probably throw in a little bit of OST from Fire Red and Leaf Green beneath my voice, just so that it sounds a little bit better than just hearing me. Because, I mean, we are playing a game, and music always helps, I think, with games in general. Like, when you have music, it just sounds better. So basically right now what we're doing is we're leaving the forest, we're going to heal, and we're going to take on Gary, because I think everybody, like I said, is around level 13 or so, so that should be more than enough to handle a couple level 9s, right? Well, let's just see what happens. I don't even know if I'm actually going to include the actual layout here, because we can't catch any new Mons, and this episode is just so different than the rest of them. You know, like, it's not like I don't want the layout there, but it's almost like this is kind of like, well, its own thing, because there was an error on my end, and there was an error in episode 1 too, when I was talking about the rules of a Nuzlocke. I wanted it to have a text overlay in Sony Vegas, and I made a mistake with it, you know. I thought I deleted it because it didn't look right, and I apparently left in like 2 quick, like, half seconds at different points in the video, like right next to each other, and I was like, oh, I caught that when I watched the episode back on YouTube. But if that's the extent of my problems, I think I'm doing okay for somebody who's never really done this before. It's certainly a new thing for me, and I think that's kind of the appeal, really, you know? Like, me being new to this, I think is exciting, not just for me, but even probably for people watching who don't really know my content. As you can see, there's a Drowsy here, and we take care of this guy relatively okay. He has hypnosis, but I think what's really great is his next Pokemon, because normally in the game this would be a Pidgey, and then the other Pokemon would be your rival's starter. Well, obviously this is a randomizer, so it's going to be a different Mon. I believe I actually switch out a Ferdinand, or I might actually stay in. I'm not entirely sure, because I actually haven't watched all of this back. I heard like the first like 5 minutes of it, and I was like, well, this is clearly not going to work. I thought maybe I could cut some of it or try to boost the volume, but the way OBS records the audio, it does both at the same time. So I think from now on I'm going to do like a quick like 5 to 10 second test recording, make sure it sounds good, and then start, because you gotta learn from your mistakes, man. And this to me is just the best way to handle it. And as you can see, there was a second drowsy. I don't know why there was a second drowsy. I made a comment that Gary is going to walk into the Hall of Fame with a team of drowsy. And I just thought of this. If I cannot beat Pokemon Leaf Green Randomizer, I think my punishment should be, can you beat Pokemon Leaf Green with only a drowsy? Let me know how you guys feel about that. Maybe we could do that. I think that could be potentially fun, and it would be another series for you guys. Or maybe I could just do that as a one-time thing. There's a couple content creators on YouTube who do that all the time. Specifically, my Dry Bread. He does it all the time, and I love his content. He just did one last week that I really enjoyed, which was can you beat Pokemon Generation 2 with only baby Pokemon? And he had like Magby, Pichu, Togepi, Smoochum, and I thought that was really fun. I love those can you beat Pokemon with only one specific Pokemon, and I actually tried doing a Zigzagoon challenge a while back, actually when Brandon was engaged to his wife for his bachelor party. Like, whenever we had some downtime, I was playing Pokemon Emerald, and I was playing Pokemon Ruby, sorry, and I had a Zigzagoon, and I was just power leveling it, and that challenge was actually pretty tough. It was not as easy as I thought it would be, especially with like no healing and things like that. Like, you've just got to learn the strategy to the game, man, and maybe that could be fun. If I don't win, we could do the Drowsy challenge because of this rival battle, and it can be a callback to this series. That's only if we lose. If we lose, then we lose. But if we win, we just have bragging rights, I guess. I haven't really thought of how I'm going to handle winning this series. Maybe I'll move into Generation 2. I probably won't record Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Not that I don't love those games. I think they're the best Pokemon games around. It's just I don't really have a way to record DS games. If somebody knows how to do that, feel free to let me know. I'm more than willing to learn. I think that Pokemon Crystal would probably be the way that I would go, but I mean, I'm open to any suggestions for a sequel series to this, because eventually I'd like to play the first 3 generations, and then by then, hopefully, I have a set way to deal with DS capturing, and I can do like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, that sort of thing, and just keep going on, because I think this is a really fun idea, and I am totally down for doing more Pokemon content if you guys want to see it. Obviously, we're going to stay committed to this series until it's all said and done, but if this is something you guys want to see more of, let me know. I've been talking with Ryan about it, and I think I might be able to convince him to maybe do like a cooperative race of some kind in the future. Like, maybe we could all do a versus just to see who can beat Pokemon the fastest. Not necessarily a Nuzlocke, but like just a race. See who can beat the game the fastest. And I guess how we would decide that could even just be as simple as we don't get to pick our starter. We leave that up to a random number generator. Anyway, that's going to be it, really, for this episode. The squad is looking at level 11, level 13, and level 11 again. Basically, at the end of the episode, I was saying I was going to get these guys up to level 13, because that would only take, like, 2 or 3 minutes, and then we would go into the gym and take on Brock. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Again, I am sorry about this. I wanted you guys to hear the original audio, but that just wasn't going to happen, and we didn't want to put a video out there that sounded like really not to the level of quality that I would want for myself. And I know that I'm new to this, but it was just something that I wouldn't feel comfortable releasing, so I hope that you guys can understand that. Hopefully this is a problem we can avoid in the future. I definitely didn't see this coming very early on for us, but we got to adapt and overcome. So thank you all so much for watching and being patient with us, and I will see you in the next episode where everything is fixed. Thanks, guys.